We were past the halfway mark of the trip. We made it out of the Tierra del Fuego mostly in one piece and celebrated New Year in Buenos Aires. As the journey carried on, we were slowly being South Americanized. Zach, who initially refused to even attempt Spanish, was now negotiating hotel prices and habloing to the locals on Espanol. Steve was delving ever deeper into the organized crime side of things, and me, I was pretty much on the first name basis with all the mechanics on the East Coast. Even Sophie had tried to eat something other than the chicken nuggets. Whereas the first part of the trip felt to be a lot about the beautiful landscapes and the nature, the second part was about the culture, the people, and seeing how they adapted themselves in the big cities. Some chose to express themselves through tango and music, or through demonstrations, and others through the sheer will to survive, like we saw in the favela of Racinha. Apart from Steve getting mugged, South America was becoming our second home.
China Kappa jumps to 2 feet creep of the road, to photo to record me lumps and war. Their ancestors is turned so very yellow white flash.
We were on our way north. It was imperative that we would arrive to Belém on the 25th of January to catch the 5-day boat up the Amazon to Manaus. If we missed it, we would not be making it back to Europe, and we might as well start looking for a permanent place to live, setting up shop as a boracaria or a wheel repair garage, a service which is everywhere around Brazil, and I can totally see why. Between us and Belém, there was almost 5,000 kilometers of riding, about 1 million potholes, as many speed bumps, and a constant supply of trucks to overtake and to keep us on our toes. It was clear we were no longer in the rich south. As one local explained to us, if your state voted for Bolsonaro's Liberal Party, you were gonna get the smooth and nice roads. Otherwise, you're getting potholes and broken wheels. As we rode further north, the more remote we felt. Judging by the looks the locals were giving us as we passed little villages, not many gringos had ventured this far before. But now we were exploring the real Brazil, and it did feel special.
Doors open with arms, my love. Main last with a great closeness. Two Kappa, dark. After nothing reunited with his neck and with you, Taro. I have sprayed you into my eyes.
At the end of a long day of riding, we were happy to finally reach the Chapada National Park. We had made it to the town of Lenchois in the state of Bahia. This is the place to be if you plan to explore the Chapada Diamantina National Park. The park itself is absolutely massive and has tons of flat-top mountains, waterfalls and caves. We rented a house on a hill just outside the city. With the hottest bed in the world, spiders, ants and windows that didn't shut properly, it was our little home from home. We even got welcomed by some monkeys and a cat when we arrived. Everybody was excited, even Sophie. It was nice to see.
Get your phone, quick.
Oh, phone's on the bed.
Give him a banana.
Don't spill, definitely.
And another one over here.
Keep your hands on you. Don't bite my finger. Wait, we're gonna do the cashews. How's it
The next day we decided to visit Poco Azul, a famous cave with a natural swimming pool that's supposed to have this perfect sky blue color of water. Of course, for us that was not the case. At least we got a chance to practice our off-roading skills. We sucked, but we had to start somewhere.
And yeah, the roads there were ridiculous there and back. It was basically training for the BR.
Yeah, considering it's like a main touristy spot, it was weird that the roads were so shit.
Yeah, but there isn't anything to compare it to in the UK or France. Like, it's just appalling. Zach was in his element trying to get his back end to skid out, but Control was doing its job very nicely. The Poco Azul itself was not Azul because of the time of year we were at. Yeah, the conditions weren't right for it. We then rode back. It was like questionable whether it was going to piss it down. It did spit a little bit, but it wasn't bad, otherwise it really would have not been an easy ride, to put it mildly. Came back to the flat.
We did.
But to be fair, that night I also fell out of the bed because
Yeah, it was like
the
a...
base was one side,
I mean,
the mattress was bigger, and then there was another mattress on top.
yeah,
And so I put my hand down to do a flip whilst conscious, and I just ended up flipping and getting a nice cut on my back.
yeah, and like in Chile they had the biggest earthquake in 1961, 9.6 on the Richter scale. I mean, the fucking building shook when Steve fell down.
To be fair, I fell on top of my box, which has got a separate section to hold the fuel in, and that's what I landed on, so it's no wonder it made a loud noise.
So the next day we woke up quite early because we had like a 8 o'clock start for this tour around the park with the Chapada Diamantina. So the weather wasn't great. Because of the weather we decided to go to a lagoon place where you could swim and zip line and stuff like that. Quite nice, and I was imagining that place on a good day would have been amazing. Basically crystal clear waters. You swim with fishes which are biting your dead skin and stuff like that. We went to a cave with stalactites and stalagmites.
Stalactites and stalagmites.
Yeah.
And a third sort that we hadn't heard of before, where they join together and they start.
It's called a
I don't know. There was,
But anyway, that place, that cave was fucking massive, and it had 1.2 million stalactites and stalagmites.
and bats.
Yeah, and that. So we walked around there. It was probably one of the most impressive caves I've ever seen. And finally, after that, it started clearing up. So we went up to this top of this mountain. And basically, the trick with this national park is that all these mountains, they're flat tops. So we got to the top. We saw a massive tarantula.
And ironically, we finally saw something blue on this trip.
It bites. Or not? It bites.
Bite.
Yeah.
It's that the hair of the tarantula is not so good too.
And it was the place called the Three Brothers. And yeah, we took some cool shots. The guy was pretty funny. He was like explaining, he was explaining the story of the Three Brothers. And then at the end, he was like, and the third brother like jumped off the fucking cliff, and he runs off and jumps off. But there's like a little platform that you don't see, and he jumps in, and it looks like he jumped off the cliff. So it's pretty funny.
Well,
I guess the owner has arrived.
it's a special moment because Zach's actually decided to put some pants on for a change.
Yeah. Zach, take it off, man. It's not right to see you like this.
Perfect.
I know.
So basically that was it. And then finally we went to the Diablo, the waterfall de Diablo. And it was my crisis moment where I was like, okay, there's a 20-meter jump, but I was too shit in my pants. Sadly, before we left Len Choice, we had to say goodbye to the unofficial fifth member of the group, my 7kg spare battery that has been with me right from the start. Unfortunately, my back box was slowly disintegrating, and keeping this heavy battery was no longer an option. It was an emotional moment, on par with the Tom Hanks leaving Wilson or Rose dropping Jack. Good night, sweet prince. I hope you found a better home.
Un jour on est venu au monde, depuis on attend que le monde vienne à nous. Tant mieux si la route est longue, on pourra faire un peu plus de détours. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. J'affronte la vie comme un aveugle avec un Walkman. Comme une anomalie dans leur programme. Vos rêves sont mes cauchemars. J'aurai 20 ans toute ma vie, rien n'est jamais trop tard. quitte à perdre le nord. Pas sûr que la nuit porte conseil quand on traîne dehors. Laisse-moi faire ce que je fais de mieux. Je continuerai mes conneries jusqu'à ce qu'ils me prennent au sérieux. Un jour on est venu au monde, depuis on attend que le monde vienne à nous. Tant mieux si la route est longue, on pourra faire un peu plus de détours. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche.
Me demande pas ce que nous réserve l'avenir, je sais pas. Ça va faire une éternité que je suis pas sorti de chez moi. Le moral dans un triste état, à vivre au jour le jour comme si le suivant n'existait pas. Marre d'observer le monde de loin, je dois fuir ma ville et ses recoins, savoir à quoi ressemble demain. Personne me souhaite bonne chance, mais je passerai pas ma vie à me demander quand elle commence.
Un jour on est venu au monde, depuis on attend que le monde vienne à nous. Tant mieux si la route est longue, on pourra faire un peu plus de détours. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. Comme la gueule de bois du lundi matin, envie de faire demi-tour à la moitié du chemin. Quand toute la ville te répète que t'iras nulle part. Comme un somnambule au bord du ravin, envie d'appeler à l'aide qu'on vienne te tenir la main. Quand tout ce que tu sais faire c'est remettre à plus tard.
À l'heure où je me couche, quand les oiseaux chantent, la voisine part au travail pendant que je m'endors avec l'amertume et l'angoisse au ventre. La vie file, moi j'en peux plus de l'attendre. Et si à force rester bloqué à tout jamais entre les murs de ma chambre. Y'a rien à comprendre quand on grandit dans un scaphandre. On se lève, on glande, on trompe l'ennui dans une galerie marchande. Je veux plus être absent de ma propre vie, à regarder nos petites histoires passer à côté de la grande.
Un jour on est venu au monde, depuis on attend que le monde vienne à nous. Tant mieux si la route est longue, on pourra faire un peu plus de détours. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. L'avenir appartient à ceux qui se lèvent à l'heure où je me couche. D'où l'on vient, loin de tout, pour demain, rien ne bouge. D'où l'on vient, loin de tout, pour demain, rien ne bouge. D'où l'on vient, loin de tout, pour demain, rien ne bouge. D'où l'on vient, loin de tout, pour demain, rien ne bouge.
The tip from Sam the night before to go to this motorcycle place paid off. So the guy in there was, the guys in there were super nice. There was the manager William who spoke English, sorted us out. He was like ready to offer us some speciality of Picos, which has gold balls, but we politely declined.
We got Zach's tyre, which was the target. Found out they had one for me because I lost the SD card flip. So Dimitri had the good tyre, I had the shit one.
And now Steve has the good tyre and I have the shit one.
Yeah, but the tyre that they had in stock was from 2012, and he was like, no, and he got them to bring another one across from 2019.
Yeah.
So
we loaded up with tires, so we had 750 kilometers to go to this place where we are now, to the dunes. And yeah, we're making our way through, and yeah, just like another day, another door, loads of speed bumps.
Oh, we also stopped at the Honda garage.
Yeah, stopped on the garage, got some free juice, and basically found out that it's impossible to get any new shit for any of our bikes. Basically, Zach was looking for a clutch plate, chain, which is like basic shit, and they said, well, it'll take us a month to get it here. No, super nice guys. Yeah, took lots of photos. Well, they did. Yeah, and then we made our way here. Dodging cats, birds, monkeys.
Zach killed a mouse and a bird on the way here.
I killed a bird
as well.
Decapitated.
We saw a tarantula.
Yeah, it was
on the road.
But yeah, arrived here. Arrived, it looked a bit dodgy, so Zach and Sophie decided to stay in, like Norris. But Mincy ventured out. Yeah, and it's like dark, and yeah, basically it's dark because there's no electricity here going on. We already had like 5 power cuts today. So understandable, but we went out, totally lovely place, actually.
Yeah, most of the people out had kids.
Kids are all over the place. People just being people. Yeah. So actually a good place, and this place where we're staying is really nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, there's a swimming pool behind Dimitri.
Separate beds, 2 bedrooms, garage, 2 bathrooms. The shit on the barbecue, which we probably should turn over.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. What a dickhead. Okay, so the next day we set off at dawn, like 7:30 or something like that. The plan was to get to Belém, and we had to take a ferry from São Luís, We arrived in very good time, like 10:30. We realized that we actually a day early, so we thought that we had to be in Belém the next day, but actually it turns out the ferry was the day after that day. So that was a plus. So a bit less pressure. Yeah, so we're waiting for this ferry for about an hour and a half. We loaded. It was absolutely boiling. I was like sweating, just standing, not doing anything. We went on the ferry. It was so fucking slow, and I was absolutely exhausted. I thought something was wrong with me. Managed to have a mini power nap on the ferry. We arrived, started to drive, and basically, yeah, the worst, probably some of the worst roads we had in Brazil so far. Potholes everywhere, massive ones. If there was no potholes, it was still rough as Batch's ass driving through that shit. Continued driving, there was like buffaloes crossing the streets. Basically, we're in the fucking wild. You can see we're not in fucking Kansas anymore.
To be fair, this was also the day where the Three Musketeers definitely split into individuals.
Like a little bit. I mean, it was like an intense moment where it was like, it was getting like basically the ferry took way too long than we expected. The roads were shit, and as well, we just didn't want to drive at night. So, and Zach was adamant to drive through the night, to camp in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well,
Not nowhere, but
Zach wanted to reach his campsite. Dimitri didn't want to ride at night. I found somewhere 40 miles away, so we could get there in daylight and still camp. But it was shut.
yeah, but the part before that was intense because, yeah, I mean, when everybody's exhausted and 2 months of rough shit, so everybody's on the edge, so the emotions were high, let's put it that way. Anyway, so yeah, Steve was the sort of diplomatic unit in the middle who found a campsite. We arrived, it was absolutely pissing it down. So we decided just to find the nearest hotel. So we found one which is called São Maria. And yeah, on the outside it looks like a fucking petrol station, like a shithole. But on the inside it was quite nice. People were super lovely. Everybody
Soft mattresses. It was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, can't complain. Yeah, those people in those towns, I would say probably the nicest people and genuine nice in Brazil.
Well, to be fair, we went to the restaurant next to the hotel. Me and Dee Dee went for go. I went for vegetarian. It was actually really nice. Zach and Sophie weren't happy with the options. They fucking ordered a takeaway to the restaurant. So the guy ordered it on their behalf.
Well, he came back because I think he felt bad that they didn't want to have anything on the menu, so he found another menu and offered them burgers, which they did get. So it was his initiative.
Yeah, there was no markup.
Sort of made up with the fellowship, we connected. That was good. I guess like it's part of this sort of trip to go through this sort of shit and realizing you're still friends at the end.
Yeah, good times. We left the hotel that was actually really nice. We had our own rooms, really comfy beds, breakfast, air conditioning.
No porn.
What?
No porn.
Well, Zach probably did. We set off for Belém. It was only 200 miles away, so we thought we'd hit it really easily. And to be fair, it wasn't actually a bad journey. Like there's the usual speed bumps, potholes, rain.
Not usual. It was probably the worst potholes we've seen.
By this point, if you can fit a truck in the pothole, I'm not surprised anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
I was just glad that we didn't do it at night.
yeah, like what we had for the first 10 to 20 miles after when we stopped would have been suicide on the bikes in the wet, rain, night situation. But thereafter, it was actually alright. It was just fairly decent road. We probably did a quarter of our mileage of that day going round the mechanic shops looking for pumps, tyres,
Big pumps.
yeah, extensions for my
extension.
well,
Penis extensions.
yeah, what has been dubbed a penis extension is actually for my tyre so I have not spokes, I've got the solid
Alloys.
alloys, and therefore I need this extension lead to be able to pump up my tyre, the normal stuff. Yeah, we got our shit, we got to our hotel.
Well, we got pissed on
Oh, yeah,
big time.
heavily pissed off. But learned that the inner pockets of the jackets are waterproof. Or
Yeah,
every document I have is fucked.
Yeah, I assume you learned this also as well, that the visor, our visors are fucking shit, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't see anything. Had some shitty traffic jams as well.
Yep. Belém itself was not too bad to get to. We don't know if we're getting more comfortable with this shitty situation or it's not so bad.
Yeah, I think it's not so bad.
We got to Belém. Really nice hotel, like really posh, proper. Me and Dimitri went to a bar.
Mas toda casa pode comer.
Then it absolutely siloed it down.
The beautiful Brazilian weather. See this fucking wetter than Scotland.
Yeah, we were like 20 metres from the hotel, we clicked in the other side of the road. We were dry when we started, we sprinted across the road, and my clothes were still wet the next day when we set off, even though I packed them up. That's how heavily it was raining. But yeah, Belém was actually quite nice compared to everything that was said about it.
Wednesday the 25th of January.
We got on the boat. A lot of fucking about. Yeah, we were supposed to set off at 6 o'clock in the evening. We arrived there about lunchtime. Like, okay, we have 6 hours left, so I was doing some shopping, so got the essentials, 15 cans of beer, no, actually more.
Yep.
Gay boys, don't look like gringos anymore. Don't look like gay boys. Yeah, bike again.
Found pump.
Yep.
Done all that before 6 o'clock, ready to go, but Brazil doesn't let you leave so easily. And basically we were waiting for all these trucks unloading themselves onto the boat, which took until almost midnight. Now that's a tasty beverage.
If only you weren't completely black and you could actually see you. So this is why we're waiting. It's like 3 hours late, the boat from leaving.
Yeah, I just checked the photos. Our boat didn't depart until gone 11:15.
So our boat is rubbing up against another boat against gas canisters. And nobody seems too concerned, they just stood there chilling. Captain doesn't care. The Brazilian flag? That's not our boat, that flag.
But yeah, we ended up getting there was a deluxe room for Zach and Sophie, and me and Dee.
McKin.
Yep, did it proper style. The hammocks were actually pretty comfy in the end.
Yeah, basically, so the way that these boats work, you have a choice of either a hammock space,
Hammock VIP space,
yeah,
a private room, a camarote,
which is like a bunk bed with just literally a bed in there, and then you have the master. Oh no, yeah, then you have a master, and then you have a master VIP. So the guys decided to be all posh, wankery, and go for the master VIP.
It worked out in our favour though, because the toilets on the boat were disgusting.
First night in a hammock, basically you learn fast how to sleep in a hammock. First night for me, I don't know about you, but basically my feet, I did like just straight, yeah, which means your feet are mile high. So yeah, well, managed to sleep I think the first night, not too bad. I mean, the place stunk, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
People around you, no personal space.
So we've been on this ferry now for about 12 hours. Dimitri's already ready to commit suicide. He's hanging out the window. Obviously Zach and Sophie don't give a fuck about him doing it. Neither do I.
The boat did not live up to my expectations, I would say. It was basically just a boat going down the river for 5 days. It was not some crazy jungle, and you know what I mean.
No, it's just a lot of people drinking.
Yeah, well, there's certain types. There's like guys who are drinking and like chatting to everybody. There's people who are in the hammock all the time. Some crazy nutters who are pitching their hammocks next to the fucking toilets.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's lots of space elsewhere.
But no, we managed to do some good stuff on there. We did puzzles. I learned how to play checkers. We played a few games of chess. We did work on the bikes.
Yeah, the working on the bike was cool. Like the boat is moving, you're in the bows of the ship, fixing we did the service. So we changed the oil, spark plugs, snapped off Steve's bolt.
No, I rounded my bolt off.
Oh, yeah.
2 of them. We also got off the boat at one point to go hunting for somebody to do the tyres for you two.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we took took 2 wheels, got a taxi, looking for a place where we can change the tires and also straighten the wheels because they were bent. So this taxi driver was driving us around the whole place for like an hour, 2 hours. Managed to find a guy who changed the tires, came back, put them in. The life of the boat is that.
Well, to be fair, there were people playing. They had like games of bingo in the evenings. There was the guys who did the band.
Yeah, the band. Yeah, so at some point there was on the last night there was a concert. And yeah, we sort of hang out with the band. Whacked out the whiskey. The dad was the rock star and the son was the keyboard. The dad, he wanted the whiskey.
Well, he didn't even like the whiskey. He was diluting it with the shitty beer,
Yeah.
and he was adamant that he had to have more because it was getting wasted. I hid it in the room, and we tried to pretend it was finished. And he was just like, "Nope, not having it. I want more of it. Where is it?"
Yeah.
But
So that was tense. Six days later, I guess, 5 nights. So yeah, we got off at Manaus finally. 4 in the morning. Tao was literally 700 meters away from the port. Yeah, we didn't sleep too much.
no,
Plus the aircon that Steve put on at 17 degrees.
I didn't
totally
put
killed
it on
everybody.
at 17 degrees.
Yeah, but I mean, you turned it on and it was at 17. Anyway, so everybody froze their boats. Nobody really slept.
But we'd organised a 2-day jungle cruise starting at
8:30.
8:30 in the morning. So
Anyway, so yeah, a guy came over. Zach labeled him Dwayne
Wade the
Johnson.
Rock Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, muscular guy. He picked us up, took us to a shop. He was like, "Dude, buy some beers." We got the beers, and then he drove us to like this little village thing where we took a boat, and that took us to the Anaconda Lodge. We arrive. It's basically on its own private island. There are like 10 little houses. We arrive with a group of French girls. So basically they said, okay, park your
And
shit.
there was James.
Wait for it. He hasn't arrived yet. He deserves a proper introduction.
Okay.
So they basically said, okay, like, so chill the fuck out. Nothing's happening until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're like, okay, so what do we do? This is where the beers come in.
Yep.
There's literally like, we asked, okay, can we walk around? Nope. Can we do anything else? Nope.
Did we ignore what we were told and end up walking around anyway?
Yep. Did we get bitten by mosquitoes? Yep.
Yep.
So anyway, so yeah, you basically got, me and Steve got a lodge, Zach and Sophie got a lodge. We're waiting until 3 o'clock. 3:30 comes around, we hear a boat in the background. And here comes James.
Yep.
So James is this 62-year-old Brazilian guy who was born in British something. So he spoke perfect English. But oh my god, his attitude was like, okay guys, this is how I am. If you don't like it, fuck you, I'm gonna go smoke a joint.
Yeah, like literally our tour guide was doing joints, and we suspect other stuff as well.
I haven't heard so much swearing in a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like swearing 24/7. But so he was like, okay guys, who wants a cig? Like, I want everybody to relax. We have 4 rules: relax, 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 relax. So he took us first. What did we do?
Piranha fishing.
Piranha fishing. Yeah, so we went on this little fishing boat thing with the driver Antonio, and he was just taking the piss out of him all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, like this is a bit awkward, but well, Antonio seemed to love it. So we went to do this piranha fishing, and I don't know what you were expecting. I was
Catch
like,
a fish.
yeah, I know, I was not expecting to catch a fish. So it was ridiculous.
Rio Negro deserves its name.
It's got a secret stash of piranhas.
Not quite released the doves.
Dapat tokan ya? Ya. Okay, ton dapat tu mukas lah. So dia ada fish here piranha, okay?
We got some shitty rods.
There weren't even rods, it's
piece
just a
of
stick
chicken.
of bamboo with a piece of wire on the end, and yeah, chicken skin.
Somehow Antonio managed to catch a piranha, which is quite impressive actually. And nobody else did.
No, the Dutch guy did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, fair enough.
But that turned out to be our dinner the following night, which was kind of cool, eating a
Yeah.
piranha.
Yeah. It actually tasted pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah. After the piranha fishing, we...
Wait. At some point,
Oh,
James
yeah.
James is like, okay, I need a piss. It was like, do you know a place where we can stop for a piss? So Antonio takes him into some sort of jungle in the boat.
Yeah,
He just gets off, stands on a fucking tree, takes a piss.
just shouting back like, don't look the other way, girls, and just...
Yeah.
let rip.
So yeah, literally no fucks given at all. Smoking on the boat, taking the piss off the boat. On the way back, it was like, so everybody's like sort of waving at us at these little huts which are floating on the river, and there's like some guys who are like waving at us. James just stands up, flips them off with like 2 hands. Right, yeah, it was pretty legendary.
Yeah. But then we got back, we had some dinner, which was fairly decent. Chicken designated spot. And then we were going out late at night to do some caiman spotting.
My people, could you open up please to the end? Balance the boat. Go down to the end, please. Why again? Hey, let's rock the boat.
There were several points where me and Suki were like, there's a fucking crocodile like right there. This guy can't see what the hell he's looking for.
Like, I'm sure it was real one.
Well, it was
Because
doing the eye reflecting thing that they were saying, so... But they still managed to find some little... We hadn't really found anything, so they go into the jungle bit on the boat.
Yeah, Antonio, no fucks given, steps off the boat.
Just starts walking through this swamp shit. Bear in mind, we thought we'd seen the crocodile just before the entrance of this thing. He just walks straight through, way off into the distance.
And like, fuck knows what's in that water. And he finds these baby crocodiles.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where's the mom?
Yeah.
So anyway, he brings them over, we like check them out.
Got to hold one.
Yeah, he released them and then sort of came back, and yeah, it was pretty much, it felt like Navy SEALs mission in the dark, no lights, going through the jungle. It was like, yeah, Bravo 6. Next morning, what did we do? Woke woke up sort of early, and we went to the jungle, and you can see James on and off drugs.
Yeah.
In the morning he was off, and you could see he was not as energetic and talky as
The night before when he cornered us.
yeah.
But he was still perkier than the average person.
Yeah, I mean, he's 62 years old. He's like walking around, and
I mean, that shouldn't be the benchmark. At 62 years old, he's walking around.
But yeah, he took us to the jungle. It was another boat trip to this jungle. We saw a baby anaconda, or anaconda's cousin, or whatever.
I nearly stepped on the fucker.
Yeah, but yeah, he walked around. We checked out some trees. So he explained some trees are good for starting fires. Some trees are good for headaches.
He showed us. So almost everybody chickened out of doing it, but I did surprise myself and did do it, and it was putting the hand on the
ant's nest
on the tree. Let them run all over your hand, and then quickly clap your hands and start rubbing them, because it's supposed to be a good mosquito repellent.
You sort of squash them.
Yeah,
basically that. Some rubber trees. There was like a lot of walking between the trees, and yeah, it was like a good intro. I wouldn't say it was like proper jungle, but
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was like sort of good intro. So we came back, and then it was time to go.
Well, we sunbathed for a little bit.
Yeah, Steve burnt.
Yeah, I turned into absolute tomato, but
yeah, the meeting of the rivers, because Steve was absolutely red on the front and absolutely white on the back. So anyway, that was Steve.
Up next was the Shit Your Pants BR319, also known as the hottest road in the world. Zach decided to fly Sophie to Porto Viejo on the other side to give us a fighting chance.
We came back, so Zach took a taxi to the airport with Sophie. We went to find some canisters. We were getting ready for the BR. It was our departure date for the BR, the infamous. Everybody shit in their pants. Nobody knew what to expect. Tension was in the air. We took a ferry to the other side of the river. The rivers have met. Shit, crossing the border.
We crossed over to the other side of the river. Maybe it was seeing some Brazilian ska breaking down even before doing a single meter of the BR, but something hit me like a ton of bricks as soon as my wheels touched the road. I felt like I was about to go out into the outer space without a spacesuit.
There's a fire between us, so when
As we got closer and closer to the beginning of the BR, the locals were giving us thumbs up, waving at us, and asking to take pictures. It felt like we were soldiers being sent away to the front, but in our minds, we were actually worried that it might be too easy and we were gonna piss it. Dumb we were dumb.
Drove, filled up with fuel, sort of ready. We did 200 kilometers, or something like that, 150, 120 of the roads. It was no problem with tarmac. We found a place to stay, had a burger, discussed, oh, like, okay, this is probably the last night we're gonna have us in a comfy bed with proper food, and yeah, we basically set off. We drove for about 50 kilometers. The road was becoming shittier and shittier, more potholes, more red clay, and then it sort of became shit really, really fast.
No, well, we had the ferry as well in between.
No, we didn't.
Was the ferry not that bad?
No,
the ferry was the day before, wasn't it?
Yeah, we talked about it. So the road went to shit straight away.
Yeah.
Like, even with the tarmacy bit, so like it was half tarmac, half clay, and already on the clayey part shit was sliding everywhere, and like, okay, not looking good, but keep going. And then tarmac ended and it was just mud. And
clay.
Yeah. And basically everybody just shit themselves.
Yeah, I don't think we piss it.
Yeah, this is going to be a fucking bitch of a day.
It's going to be a bitch even with these tyres. I nearly lost it a few times.
Same.
My heart is pumping.
Yep.
Fucking hell, this is going to be shit. I need to get rid of this fuel ASAP. I can feel it sloshing.
Yeah?
Yeah, when I do that.
I think we've burned up 1 gallon so far.
Yeah, just keep going then.
We did 2 kilometers. Bikes are sliding all over the place. Still, like, it was not rain, but it was like muddy. Zach was like, okay, we're not going any further. We need to go back.
Well, the main concern was the time it would take us to do it. We didn't have enough, but also...
Yeah, we did 2 kilometers in an hour.
And his clutch was also...
Yeah.
Not gonna make the journey. But in terms of speed, I did a race against Dimitri, him on the bike, me on foot.
The good one.
And not by a small amount.
Yeah. So anyway, we stopped. It was some sort of like moment of reckoning. What do we do? And then it started pissing it down absolutely massively, and it just became hell from hell.
Holy fuck.
We get what we deserve. Oh, we get what we deserve. And we're down we go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, we're down we go. Oh, 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 oh. So we're down we go. down we go. So we're down we go, way down we go.
It looks like we're finished the VR.
Yeah, exactly like it.
Guys, we finished the VR! Woo!
And only one drop.
In 3 hours!
It was a major swamp going back, like water coming up near to your knee sort of height whilst riding through it.
Steve dropped the bike.
Whoa. Zach picked up Steve's bike, rotated me round by like 20 degrees, put me down, and my feet just slid straight out.
Yeah, anyway, so the drop happened. Yeah, and then we sort of put our tails in between our legs and headed back. Yeah, and it was already challenging just to go back.
Yeah.
And we got on the tarmac, and it was just like this walk of shame. Like, that's how I felt to me.
Yeah.
It was like just riding back through the shit that you came through, seeing the people, and you're just like so down. So you're like, yeah, you've given up. It was not a nice feeling.
No, but we did get lucky in some regard because we saw that there was a ferry from Manaus all the way back to Manaus, leaving that day, going to Portobello. So we were like, shit, we need to actually move. We can't just lick our wounds. We just gotta go.
Yeah. So yeah, we drove back, took a ferry, got to the port. We had to pay 4,200 BRL. The guy didn't accept. We didn't have enough cash.
And couldn't physically withdraw that much.
No. And basically, thank God, one of my friends was kind enough to do this PIX thing, that like the method of payment in Brazil, and he paid for us. Otherwise, I think we would have been mega fucked.
Yeah.
So anyway, we drove the bikes onto the boat on the plank, which by this point it was like whatever. Before it would have been shit in my pants, but here it was like, yeah, whatever. We parked up, the guys were unloading the boats. It was already not looking like...
Well, the hammock section was already completely full.
Yeah, it was tiny, but it was full. There was no space anywhere. People didn't give a fuck.
And it looked dirty. It was a single level with the cargo, the cars, and the people.
Yeah, it was dirty, it was piss everywhere, it was wet. At some point I was considering sleeping under a truck. Then Steve had an idea of putting the tent up, and then he sort of abandoned the idea, but I picked up the idea, and I set up a tent. Zach also set up a tent, so we had our own little like private area.
I took my sleeping mat and just went and did it properly.
So basically, that was our home for the next 3 days.
With emotions high after the BR, I decided to channel them to write a poem. Atop our steeds we ride at dawn. We know the challenge is for what we are born. Bystanders smile, wave and hail, as we embark on this epic trail. We ride and ride, we feel it's near. The mud begins and nothing's clear. The fight's begun, it's us or him, but with every meter we lose the steam. It's hard to balance, to breeze, to think. We give it everything, and yet we sink. The opponent's unforgiving, tough, relentless, and without a flex it left us faithless. A new internal battle has begun. Do we continue or are we done? The pride is strong, but we concede. The fuckers beat us, nice and clean. The knights return to where they start. The bastards made us look like art. There is no party, there's no champagne. The only thing is scars and pain. The battle's lost, but not the war. This thing has shook us to the core. We're feeling lost, we're in the dark. But like Arnold said, we will be back.
We were just happy that we were going in the right direction on the boats. Not ideal, but whatever. And then at some point Zach was like, oh, I feel bad that they're cooking meals for us and we're not eating, so he braved it and ate the whole thing. The next morning Steve braved the breakfast, which was just a roll.
A bread roll and a coffee. I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
And then I was like, okay, fuckers have tried, so I'm gonna... Zach's tried dinner, Steve's tried breakfast, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try lunch. So that was our breaking point, which is lasting until now. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So after that, Zach started to feel like shit. Puking off the side of the boat. Basically looking like death and passing out in the tent. I sort of was starting to feel shit, but I had to go for a dump. But not as bad. Anyway, but so the condition was just getting worse and worse, and nobody gave a shit about cleaning or keeping up some sort of like hygiene standards. Anyway, so I was quite happy to get off as soon as possible. So we arrive at the place called Humaite. Humaite. Zach is just like, I don't think I can drive. And we got off at a Humaite, and we had to drive 200 kilometers to Porto Velho. Somehow Zach managed, even though I could see like it was tough.
Yeah.
But we managed to get there to the hotel where Sophie stayed. Quite a nice place. Just at that point, my stomach, the cramps were just really, really agonizing.
You still had like specific food desires at that point.
Yeah, we went to Bob's Burger. Bad idea.
Yeah.
The dinner, I was just basically going rice with some meat, just to keep me some give me some energy. And Zach decided not to do that. To me, it looked like he ate nothing. I went to a garage where the guys changed their tires.
I got my rounded off bolts replaced.
Yeah, but they fucked up your engine. Next day, you're setting off. We're going to Guayamarin, which is the border town between Brazil and Bolivia.
Was that the day we were planning to actually get across the border, and we were like just completely done with Brazil? We were like, fuck this, we just want to get the hell out.
Brazil was still pissed on us for the last time.
Yeah.
And to get to the Bolivian side, we have to catch a ferry. Anyway, so we went to the port, and the ferries work here not by schedule, but if it's full, it'll go. If not, tough shit. So it was not full. It was not even on our side.
Yeah.
So they said, fuck you guys.
The camp has been set up. We're here for the long run. Mascots to keep enemies at bay. The casualties. The locals now. This is our new house. Welcome to the cribs, where the magic happens.
New toilet.
Steve's sucky spot.
Some dude was like, "Oh, guys, no problem. We can put 3 bikes on a little boat, which is like literally like a fishing boat."
And there was no ramp, so it was going to be, we have to physically lift your bikes up at the top of this hill, carry it down the hill, onto the boat, without the boat tipping over from the weight of each of our bikes.
But even it was so desperate, but we're not that desperate, so we decided not to do it. It was the right decision. So we decided to get a hotel. Yeah, I mean, it's like classic Brazilian posada. You get a room, you get a toilet.
Dee was feeling brave, and so tried some street meat.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, I need some energy. I'm not brave in it Zag style where I'm not eating.
I mean, I was eating, but I was like, nah, a packet of super noodles and some veg, that'll do me. I'm not eating that shit.
Steve, the vegetable dealer. What you got?
I got carrots, I got peas, I got sweet corn, I got chickpeas, tomato paste, you name it, I got it.
What was it like when you sold your first vegetable? So was it like making love?
To be fair, I feel like I'm surrounded by vegetables at the moment, which is very exciting.
Woke up, it was absolutely siloing it down. Like, fucking out.
Zag's birthday.
So it was pissing it down, then it stopped. Locals came at 8. We were outside this restaurant, and these 2 ladies who opened the place, they were really nice. Like, do you guys want a table? Like, yeah, sure. So we sat around the table, and they were really, really friendly. Actually, like, probably the friendliest people that we met in Brazil.
Yeah.
And she brought out coffee. She gave it all like for free, and
well, we even tried leaving money on the table when we left, and she actually came back to us with the money. Like, no, you're not leaving this shit.
So yeah, we managed to get on the ferry. It was really fast, 15 minutes across the border. We arrived.
Steve in his natural habitat.
With Bolivia, you have to have fucking photocopies for I don't know what reason, but they want it. So you have to get passport photo, the stamp photo, and COVID certificate. Then we had to register the bikes in Bolivia. Went there, more photocopies.
Yeah.
So around 1 o'clock we were ready to go.
At this point, we've travelled 2 kilometres.
Yeah, we set off. The roads were alright. Tarmac. I was like, wow, this is like making good progress, better than expected. Some point pissed it on big time, like one of the biggest siloing that I probably had on the bike.
Yep.
But it was not windy, so we sort of just ride through it. And here it's like it's localized rain, so you go through hell for 5 minutes and you come out and it's sunny. and then the tarmac sort of stopped. We went off-road, then tarmac started again, and then stopped again. And then we started looking for places to stay.
Well, the roads weren't great, but we started needing to find somewhere.
Zach suggested some sort of camp in an abandoned barn.
It was like, no,
I was like with jaguars and shit and snakes and stuff. I was like,
We've still got an hour of daylight. Let's keep going for 45 minutes. We can set up tents if need be, but
yeah,
let's give it to the last. And to be fair, we did find somewhere.
yeah. It was like a lot of, at that point the mud started to happen. We were like, okay, we stopped at some place. They said, no, you can't stay here, but there's a place 10 kilometers down the road.
Remember me, my love. I'm the one you're dreaming of. Go for a ride. I keep you warm inside. I'm gonna roll up the sidewalk. I'm gonna tear up the ground. Coming right to meet you. The long way. Gotta do what it is that I do, then I'm coming back. Got the sun on my face, sleeping rough off the road. I'll tell you all about it when I get home. Gonna roll up the sidewalk, gonna tear up the ground, coming round to meet you the long way round.
And we went there, and yeah, it was like, to me, like my best description is Ukrainian dacha. It was like, yeah, ducks everywhere, like little houses, like, so it was like a ranch sort of thing. The guys took us to our own little private house.
Admittedly, the house, the walls, it was like a plank of 2x4.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
the
an
door
inch
does
of
not
gap.
close. Like, there was not, the door did not shut. Spiders everywhere.
You could see through every wall,
yeah,
in or out, and you could see through the wall to your neighbours, had there been any neighbours.
Yeah, and then that was Zach's birthday.
Yeah.
And the only good thing was, like, when we arrived, the tablecloth said happy birthday.
Yeah.
So.
And there was a jaguar pelt on
Yeah.
the wall that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so we had dinner there. We put the nets out, which were probably essential because, for me, any part that was touching the net got bitten.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't sleep too well, I have to say. Well, it's usual probably, but for Zach probably the worst. Anyway, we woke up, set off at 8 o'clock next day. Road was sort of alright to begin with, but progressively started to become shittier and shittier.
Until it became literally it was like the BR. The problem was that you had no grip whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what we had. We had no grip on BR.
And
even with your knobblies.
Yeah. Well, without the knobblies on this road, I set the highest drops in a day record.
Yeah, so we basically started dropping like flies, sliding everywhere. So Steve dropped,
7.
well, 7 to begin with, 8
No,
to
no.
8 to end. At the last point, like the 8th was when you dropped.
I thought that was the 7th.
No, that was 8.
No,
But
because the 8th. No, because.
no, it was the 8th, man. It was the 8th.
Okay.
We pretend this is the BR.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going.
For me, like at least Steve dropped it at slow speeds. For me, I dropped it like a mofo at 30k or something like that.
Yeah. It was a weird moment looking at the road, like, well, not road, but the sludge, trying to work your way through, and then looking up, and all of a sudden Dimitri's headlight is facing me.
Yeah, it was like a slow motion slide for ages, and I was like holding it, and then at some point it just let go and spun me around, and yeah, it was a big one. My feet, my shins were absolutely bruised to the max from all these bumps, everything, and my knees just hitting, like my shins hitting the engine bars. Absolutely agonizing. I don't know about what yours was like, but like that was for me. Every time we hit a bump, my legs would go into the engine bars and it would hit those bruises, and it was just absolutely agony. Old Faithful being faithful.
Yeah. To be fair, it did just sink, which is shit.
Just drive it out, dude.
What?
But anyway, we kept pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah,
And it
until it
was-
was like lunchtime, like 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
We
bear in
were-
mind we hadn't had breakfast or lunch.
Yeah. Well, some of us could have lunch, some of us couldn't. I think if we wanted to. Drove through this traffic jam of trucks. We drove through gravel walls.
And the truck drivers are absolute assholes. They're like right up your ass. They can see that you're literally,
Sliding over the place.
yeah. And
They don't give a fuck.
like if you dropped it, they were gonna hit you. They couldn't stop quick enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we're driving through all that crap.
And then I ran out of fuel.
Yeah, Steve ran out of fuel. I was like, I had no words. I knew what was gonna happen. I had to go and fucking get fuel, come back, and do the same journey again. So we decided to stay the night at this place, Santa Rosa. I sort of braved a burger. It stayed until 6 o'clock in the morning, but came out. At that point, there was nothing left in my stomach, and it was just green shit coming out. Not worrying, but and Zach was still in, basically looking like death and sounding like death.
I don't know. Once again, I don't know how Zach managed to push through how shit he
Yeah.
was, because I was that done in. We pulled up into the car park. I had to go over this little ramp sort of thing, and for the final time that day,
The 8th.
I got my drop.
Yep. Roads were shit, but they were dry. We
Yeah.
got really, really fucking lucky with the weather, because for 2 days it didn't rain, or a day and a half, so the roads dried up. There was still lots of sand coming up. You can't see anything when sand is blasting from trucks in front of you, and you have to overtake them in the blind.
Well, even just from the bikes in front of me, I couldn't see fuck all.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a challenge, but compared to the muddiness, I would take that any day.
Yeah.
So we managed to get to the tarmac, going through some cows, which were in the middle of the road, the herd of cows. We got to the town Rumbek, had lunch there, and then it started pissing it down. And I mean, if we would have been an hour earlier, later, that rain would have hit us on the road, and we would have been fucked.
Yeah.
Finally joined Ruta 3, and it was the climb over the mountains, the start. So basically lots of switchbacks, lots of corners, but pretty much on every corner there's gravel. So it was like half and half of gravel and tarmac and mud.
Eventually it turned into nice road.
Yeah.
That was actually really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was actually very enjoyable. And it was, even like the gravelly parts that were not super gravelly, that you can actually take them at decent speeds and sort of feel like a badass. So that was pretty cool. And we managed to get to the place called Kavarni, something, which was like really close to La Paz. But the thing is, again, we got lucky with the weather because it's like less than an hour after we arrived, this was beyond Sayo.
Yeah.
It was the craziest rain probably I've seen in my life. There was just flooding everywhere. I lost my fucking Havaiana. We had to go get some cash. So walking through this mega rain to get some cash, soaked straight away.
No, to be fair, our raincoats held up.
Yeah, raincoats, yeah, but everything beyond raincoats soaked.
Oh yeah.
We got some food, and actually it was the first day after like all this stomach issues where I was like, I ate that food and I felt like actually it's alright. I had chicken and rice and I was like, yeah, stomach is not complaining for the first time. I mean, I still had diarrhea in the morning, but it was alright. So yeah, we woke up. Zach's still feeling like death. We set off around 10:30.
What would have been the death road, but
yeah, and it was like 160 kilometers, 20 kilometers to La Paz.
Oh, fucking hell. Off to a good start.
I think it's good we're not doing the road. That's really well.
What?
That's really well.
At least I caught that fucker on video. Caught that fucker on video.
from inside. I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age.
So, yeah, we were supposed to do the death roads, but yeah, conditions in the group was not permitting, so we decided to take Route 3, which is basically above the death road, and you're still climbing from 1,000 feet to about 10,000 feet.
Well, wasn't it 4,500 meters at the highest point or something?
4,000, yeah. Because La Paz, I think, was higher. Anyway, so absolutely beautiful road and beautiful scenery. Like, actually, that road, that piece of Route 3 is just, I would say, one of the best roads for the bike that I can say that I've been on. Like, before the place we stayed to La Paz, amazing. But yeah, we got like just before La Paz, it started pissing it down. It became absolutely freezing. It went to 5 degrees.
Well, it said 5 degrees, but I lost all feeling in my fingers for ages afterwards.
There was hail, snow. But yeah, we saw La Paz in the distance, and then it was just get to the hotel. And I remember looking at the sat nav, and it was like just when we entered, it was only like 4 miles. And I was like, wow, it's really close. But fuck no. You had to go through all the shitty traffic with numb fingers, tiredness, with bikes not running well.
Steep roads.
Yeah, not yet.
No, they were steep. Not the same, not the epic steep.
Yeah. So anyway, but we managed to get to the hotel. The hotel was lovely, I would say.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was comfortable, clean, modern.
It wasn't even modern, it was like futuristic in terms of UK standards. Because
the people were super nice though. Like, they saw Zach was about to fucking puke his cats out, and the lady was like, okay, like, I'm bringing tea out with cocoa, like, it's gonna help. That's really, really nice. So she did. We hit the bed. Did we go to eat somewhere?
Yeah, we went out for food.
Yeah. Anyway, we came back that night. I had my first semi-solid shit, and I was like, maybe on my recovery streak here. So that was quite nice. Next day, Zach said that he was not up for driving, so we decided to stay another night. So on the La Paz day, so the next day started off with a walking tour. Daniel, the guide.
He was actually quality.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Started off in San Pedro Plaza, which is next to the prison. He was telling us about how basically the prison is run by the inmates.
So everything from the fact that people can take their wives and kids in there. Coca-Cola is the official sponsor of the prison.
Yeah. Then we went around the market, which is a big thing in La Paz, because basically you don't have supermarkets, you just have markets run by these ladies, these
babushkas.
Yeah, traditional ladies called the chilitas.
Still go to the left a bit. Try not to get tomatoed.
We went to the witches market again, and he was telling us about how basically if you want to build a house, there has to be a baby fetus of a llama buried in the foundations. Basically here it's all about the being one with the nature, and yeah, actually it's quite nice to hear to me. Like, these guys, they're on it, they're appreciate nature, and you know, they don't fuck it. They sort of try to have this tradition and keep it going. We just went to ethnography museum about the dresses that they do.
It was a nice museum, but the problem was that there was no translations for anything.
Yeah, but it was nice. Yeah. Then we went to the market, which was actually really nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely cheapest chips. Sit right opposite and next to all the locals. You eat with them. Super, actually, really, really nice.
We had some time to kill, so we decided to do the cable cars.
Yeah, because otherwise, like with the altitude, like by the way, La Paz is the highest administrative capital in the world at 3,600 meters. So basically, if you walk up the hills, you're out of breath and tired straight away. Then went to the Coca Museum, where it was basically Coca is the future, and then hit the Sac. And yeah, that's about it.
But it was a really enjoyable day. Like, the Paz is definitely worth a visit, even though we were like, oh, should we just skip it? So we set off from La Paz with the monster fucking hills.
Yeah. The sat nav got corrupted, so that was a really good start. So I thought it was going to be an easy way out, and just looked at the Google Maps. It's like, okay, first left, second right. Bob's your uncle, you're on Route 1. No. First started off sort of gentle hill, then became harder hill. Then at some point it was like, okay, turn right, and it became 45, 50 degrees.
It was one of those riding up it was like lean forward, lean fucking forward.
And then there was a fork in the road up this 50-degree hill, and to the left it looked like shit. Stop here and check it out. Anyways, I had a good idea to go back down and say, well, not do these hills. So we had to do a U-turn on this 50-degree hill. My heart was absolutely racing. Even going down the hill was dodgy.
Yeah.
Especially with my brakes and everything.
Oh yeah, it was engine braking and braking, because even with the brakes on the hill when we stopped before we turned around, my bike was sliding backwards down the hill with full braking.
Yeah, it was terrifying, and basically if it would have dropped the bike, it would have been a roly-poly down the hill.
Would have been fun to see, but...
Yeah, but I mean, it would have become a cannonball and destroyed pretty much half of the city.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at the end we managed to get out and drive. We were on Altiplano, which basically means we were on a constant 3,500 meters from La Paz to Uyuni. It became cold. It wasn't really rainy, was it?
Did rain a bit.
Yeah. The petrol became more expensive because here, like in the south, they obviously have seen tourists and know what to do with them, and the technique is that you get charged 3 times more if you're a foreigner than if you're a Bolivian. So all of a sudden our fuel bills increased 3-fold. And then we got tourist tags by the police.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we were speeding, and they were well placed. They fucking caught us, no
115 kilometers an hour, which is on those roads, is just, I would say, was totally fine.
Like, we weren't being reckless, but the speed limit was something like 80 or something stupid.
Yeah, and nobody does 80.
Yeah, other people got pulled over at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that, okay, this is how much you have to pay.
Do you have any cameras on you?
Yeah, do you have cameras? And then eventually to Dimitri they said something along the lines of, like...
Do you want to collaborate?
Yeah, or do we need to take this back to the station? It was like, fuck.
We'll collaborate. And the guy's like, you want to collaborate? Okay, that's good. So here's the money, or is the money, and basically had to borrow 210, like it was 200 each for
for us, and I had to borrow 210 from Zach. Gave the cash to the guy didn't even count it. Just put it in his pocket.
Yeah, he didn't give us a ticket or anything, it was blatantly just a...
Yeah. So that was nice. I continued driving.
I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies.
Yeah, made it to the Sofats.
driest place on earth.
It was not too dry.
It was swimming pool.
Yeah.
But got loads of nice pictures. It was still very nice to look at.
Yeah, Zach slept in a hotel. Me and Steve decided to do it properly.
Well camped.
Yeah, well camped for the first time.
But we were sat there, just having our dinner, and then it was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but it was pretty chilled. Basically, we arrived and there's a car park. Lots of like Chileans and Bolivians and tourists. And we're like, okay, so can we camp here? Lady's like, yeah, no problem. Don't camp there because you're probably gonna get wet. Camp here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was the fact that it was just, we didn't think it was going to piss it down, but then we saw the clouds and it was like, ah, shit.
We saw the lightnings in the backgrounds. It was
fair, it didn't actually rain at all.
Yeah, it did rain in Uyuni.
Yeah.
People were really nice. So one guy chatted to us and he was like, oh, you guys are camping here? And he was like working on the flats in these old trucks, extracting salt.
Dimitri being Dimitri, kept it quiet and was like, Steve, can I sleep in your tent?
So yeah, we spent a lovely Valentine's Day together.
Yeah.
We're working.
Instead of taking around, you could be cooking food. You're denying us.
Steve, first we need to build the house.
We're not cooking in the house.
You have until sunset.
I think I'll manage.
Yeah, so the next day I woke up 6 in the morning. Yeah, it was quite chilled, packed up. Met with Zach.
He had fucking horns on the back of his bike.
Yeah, horns on the back. He found some skull of a cow and I don't know what, curb stomped it or something to get these horns off. We were driving now to
The border.
the Argentinian border. Yeah, so we were doing a pass. You could see it was grey as fuck on the horizon. And you're like, okay, it's gonna be bad. And you go in, it gets, so you're about 4,000 meters up. Absolutely freezing rain on our bikes without, I mean, didn't matter what you had, it would freeze, you just couldn't feel my hands anymore. Face was frozen, I couldn't see through the visor. I had to keep the visor open and it was basically just like receiving 100 needles into my face every second.
Yeah.
I was just gritting my teeth. Absolutely like,
Yeah.
Yeah, once we went over the pass, we stopped over some sort of cafe. Got
Yeah.
soup, teas, warm shit, sort of brought back to life. Then there was like some nice rodents through, like right in the sun. After that part, it was sunny, and through the canyons. It was quite beautiful actually there.
Yeah. We got to the border.
And we're stuck. Surprisingly, it was just so fucking slow that those 20 cars, it took like 2 hours, and like so overall we were there for 4 hours. Yeah. So anyway, by the time we got through, it was like 6 o'clock, and we're like, okay, it's time to pitch camp.
Yep.
Found a place. We were in the land of the Argentinian peso, which is a good currency if you have the black market rate. The next day we set off for Salta.
Not giving it a go? See if you've got the magic touch. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you start a BMW 1150 GS.
Stopping off at the Rainbowish Mountain on the way.
Yeah, quite a nice town, touristy.
We had some good lunch with Llama.
Yeah, running rentals.
It makes you look like a knob.
A knob. Since uni sofas were a bit of a fail, we saw that there was also Argentinian sofas nearby. Climbing and climbing, it was the highest that my sat-nav ever saw on my sat-nav. It was 13,750 feet. Yeah, very nice roads. We got to the salt flats, managed to get on the flats, it was not rainy. So yeah, it was pretty good.
It was a bit shit that we had to stick with a tour guide and just ride behind them, but
yeah. Well, we got on the flats. It's alright. It looked like snow, but it wasn't, and that was the surreal part about it.
Yeah.
Heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to
take you out of this place. Someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road. But you've got no destination, you're in the mud. In the maze of her imagination, your love is down. Even if that doesn't ring true, you've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day. So let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place. Teach me, I know I'm not a hopeless case. See the world in green and blue. See China right in front of you. See the canyons broken by clouds.
We then realised that the road back across to Mendoza Salta was shit, and so we had to go back on the same way we came.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, and then Steve before that did a prophecy of a weather coming in and said, okay, we should be in Salta before 5, otherwise we're gonna get pissed on. And pissed on we did.
Oh yes.
It was proper intense. Like, and again, we were in the cloud, couldn't see anything.
But then we came off that road onto actually an incredible little road.
Yeah, super narrow, through a jungle.
And it was
Dodges folk.
windy as no tomorrow.
Yeah, it was just winding.
It's such a shame we didn't get footage of it, but it was because of the cold and the rain and shit like that.
And lightning's going off right next to us. Yeah, it got cold, wet, soaked, all the good stuff. Then we arrived at Salta.
And then woke up the next day and
Had a really good breakfast.
Yeah, the best breakfast of the trip. And then we set off to the mummified children.
Yep, the speciality of pièce de résistance of Salta.
It was really weird, but really worth seeing. Walked fucking miles to the
artisan
market that was a sunrise.
Yeah, that was basically everything was the same. Made in China.
Had to walk back.
And then we went for the thing that they do in Salta. This sort of show and dinner. And it's actually legit, it's not just for the tourists, it's for people who live there.
The steak.
Yeah, the food.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, the north of Argentina for food, I would say, is probably the best place to go in South America.
Even just down to the meat itself was amazing, but then how do you want it cooked? And it was literally, I couldn't have. There is no better completion of the task than what they delivered.
The next day we set off down Route 33. So yeah, it was a bit of a death road.
But we stopped for some lunch in a nice little village.
Oh yeah, that restaurant was really good.
Yeah.
The speciality of this restaurant, basically that it does traditional dishes with the modern twists, and yeah, it was really, really nice. And that was the Ruta 40 tarmac finishing at that point.
Yeah.
And it was basically 200 kilometers or something like that of gravel and sand. So it was like another day in the office, shit in the pants, front wheel slipping. Sort of like was beautiful sceneries. Yeah, at the end we managed to do it, and we didn't know if the gravel was gonna last for 200 kilometers, 500 kilometers, all the way to Mendoza, 1,000 kilometers. So at some point it ended and it went into this perfect tarmac, and it was just like, you know, like it's the classic moment now. Like, as soon as you see normal road, you're like, thank you, Jesus.
I literally got off the bike, I started roping and petting the road, like.
Yeah, classic. So, and yeah, from there on, we made it to Cafayate. Had dinner in this really good restaurant with the best empanada I've ever had. And it was absolutely cheap as hell. The next day, we set off.
We set off, and the road basically stopped being a road. It went to sand, and then it went to a river.
Yeah.
And us being fucking geniuses, like, let's cross the river. We did not manage to cross the river, but our boots did get soaking wet. Got something on the lines of trench foot going on by the end of the day.
Yeah. We ended up then staying in a hotel, not hotel, but yeah, it was like a hotel run by a German guy and his wife, Argentinian wife.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, she was really nice. They were really nice. They still brought us some tomatoes.
The lady started explaining about the fact that she's got fruit and you can help yourself. And she was like, oh yeah, you can take some. And literally she filled my hands to capacity with all these grapes.
And we shared with them the whiskey, because the German guy was...
Gerhard.
Gerhard. He was a big fan apparently. And at the end, I could see the whiskey would be in a good home with him. So that was where we left that guy. And so the next day, we drove now to Mendoza. We're basically driving down these, again, mountain roads, very straight. But the classic here was they have like these dips for like, I think for waterways or something like that.
Yeah, well a lot of them did have water or sand in them.
And it's basically you just, 60, 100 kilometers of just non-stop up and down.
And accelerating, braking to not come off in this shit, and then... Yeah,
well, at some point Zach got hit on a leg with a piece of wood that came off the truck.
Yeah.
We didn't see him, that happened. And at the same time we stood up.
Oh yeah, we were so
we don't see in the mirrors. Yeah, pulled over, waited for a bit. Zach arrived 5 minutes later, pissed.
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't you turn around? You fucking cunts.
And then he drove off.
Drove off, like fuck, yeah, fair enough. But sort of, yeah. And I tried to catch up with him, didn't. But caught up with him at the next petrol station, it was fine. Leg was still attached, so it's alright.
And then we set off, and then riding down the road, Zach suddenly had to swerve because a water cooler bottle had bounced off a truck, and it bounced sort of near him, but then it bounced up into my windscreen, obliterated it.
Mm-hmm.
The windscreen went into my chest and I was almost hugging it, and the bottle bounced off my head and went over.
Yeah, and we made it to Mendoza, went to the Dakar hotel, and it was still quite pricey, but we were like, okay, we'll take it. And we're like, oh yeah, let's hit Mendoza hard. And basically the night before was the carnival, and the next 2 days were the bank holidays where people recovered, so it was a bit of a fail. The next day I went to a shopping mall so that Steve could buy his fucking Messi shirt and could buy some food. And then we basically decided to drive to a lake which is outside of Mendoza, Profiterol, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And wild camped by the beach.
Yep.
Like off-roady rocky roads to get there, but quite nice.
The mother of all thunderstorms.
Yeah, it was like, holy shit, I hope we're not gonna get struck by lightning. 'Cause it was literally every 5 seconds.
And in all directions, it was.
Yeah, all around us, and you're like, and everybody, all the locals, because originally there was like quite a lot of people, and then all the locals just left, and it was just us.
Well, to be fair, one lady actually did say to us, like, guys, you might not want to stay here. Like, look at that, it's coming.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, it was quite scary, but it was alright. Next morning, sunshine.
Yeah. We set off towards the Chilean border.
We did indeed. Beautiful roads through these mountains. Went through the customs, so you got lucky with the horns.
Yeah.
And then came out, and yeah, it's like Zach said, it was basically like Stelvio Pass in Europe, in Italy. Going down to Santiago. Got really hot again. It's like 32 degrees, and we basically drove all the way to San Jose, which is next to San Antonio, where we dropped the bikes.
We found an amazing Airbnb.
The cabin in the woods. We spent 2 days there, cleaned the bikes. It was about 6 hours worth of cleaning that we did. But they looked good at the end. And basically at this point my brakes stopped working, everything was on my bike. It looked good, but it was just not running, yeah, but brakes just no.
We got some food, had a barbecue, decided to burn some logs.
Burn the body.
Basically took a massive log that we shouldn't have burnt.
Yeah.
It did not burn, it was still there the next day.
Yeah, we called it the body.
Yeah.
So we had to hide the body, but at the end we managed to kill it on the second night.
Play.
Contemplate my fate. You know the places where we go, and cause I have been told
that salvation lets my wings unfold. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel like love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it all, she offers me protection.
I love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the waterfall, whenever it may take me, I know that life won't break me.
When I come to call, she won't forsake me. I'm loving angels instead.
When I've been weak and the rain walks down no one-way street. Make love, and I know that I'll always be blessed with love. And it grows, there's cracks to my bones. When I was dead, I'm loving angels instead. Everybody through it. Oh, she offers me protection, and I love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the waterfall,
Wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me when I come to go. She won't forsake me. I'm loving angels instead.
Damn man, you still don't know the lyrics.
So the trip has come to an end. We're setting off to go hand these babies back in. Hopefully we make it. I've got fuck all fuel, but we'll see.
I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about half past dead. I just need some place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? He just grinned and shook my hand, no was all he said. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. I picked up my bag, I went looking for a place to hide. When I saw Carmen and the devil walking side by side, I said, hey Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go, but my friend can stick around. Take a load off Fanny, take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. Go down, Miss Moses, there's nothing you can say. It's just old Luke and waiting on a judgment day.
And it was 16 kilometers to go. Everybody's on the last milliliters of fuel. And managed to miss the turn, take the long way around.
We skipped over one big bit.
Okay, mention the bit.
So, we've had our grievances with each other along the trip, but first time we had a proper shout out at each other.
Well, I already had a shout out with you and a shout out with Doug in
Right.
Brazil.
But I'm not usually a shouting person.
Yeah, they're not nice, but yeah, Steve got pushed.
It wasn't even that bad a thing, but it was that roll of cling film that we bought previously. It was like, that came out saying, why is he on that thing on the tri-count? And I just flipped. I was like, nah, not fucking having this. Not at all.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dickhead thing to do.
But yeah, it's a bit of a shit thing because it's the end of the trip, and well, my last day here. Did try and knock on their door to go see if we want to come for dinner, but they're out already. And yeah, it's a shame to part on separate ways.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
But yeah, so then we set off to.
Just shows how tired, like 3 months, you collect a lot of tension at some point. You need to release it somehow.
Yeah.
Like these sort of trips, it's a build up of everything, like tiredness, emotions you've been through.
All the shitty little things that people do build up massively.
Adapt to massive things, yeah. Everything has a price.
But Yeah. Anyway, we had that disagreement the next morning. We rode to give the bikes back, as you said. Sad seeing them go. When we left there, got taxi across to
the beautiful San Antonio.
To San Antonio, which some lady booked for us because we were struggling. But then we got to the bus stop. Zach and Sophie got their tickets. They went to go get on the bus. We went to buy our tickets and the last 2 seats, but then it turned out, oh no, it's gone. There's only 1 seat available. So me and Dimitri had to get on a different bus a little later.
Got a completo.
Yeah.
Right.
From the OG supermarket.
Yeah. And now we made it to Santiago. Sunny as fuck. In the Icon Hotel.
Beautiful hotel with like not a triangle but like a chevron pool on roof.
Yeah, and last night of Celebrate, we went out first to the Pisco, Independent Republic of Pisco or something it was called.
And the different heats of the ceviche, it was like 1, 2, 3 or 4. And I was like 4. And the guy's like, dude, that's really hot, you're gonna struggle. I was like, no, I like spice. Brings it out, it's like...
Dude, it's not even a 1.
Yeah.
And then Bella Vista, the party zone. Tried a few bars actually, I think we know it pretty well.
Yeah, minced a little bit.
Minced a bit.
Dimitri's not as young as he used to be.
No, by 1 o'clock I was ready to go home.
I had said we go big, then we go home.
And I went big. So anyway, we survived. Steve's fucking off. I'm fucking off in 3 days.
Yeah, last day for me. I was planning to have left half an hour ago, but we needed to get this shit done.
Yeah. Right. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
See you. Yeah.
Tune in for the next podcast.
In 2033.
Yeah. And he's off.
You guys, I'm out of here.
Adios, muchacho.
Adios.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond. And that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn. And that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
What happened to no cheesy shit in the videos?